keep one.
Each adult?
Huh?
Each adult?
Yeah, each adult. Okay, before I forget, I want to thank all the volunteer work that goes on in this church. I don't think that we understand how much dedication goes on into, dedicating your time and your service to the community church here. So I just want to thank, and I'm probably going to forget somebody. So Jamie and Spencer, for you're always here on Sunday mornings and doing worship. And I tell you, if you need to call it, somebody needs to call in sick, you're always here. So I just appreciate you guys. David and Heidi, I mean, oh my gosh, what the things that you do in the church, that you volunteer. David, you take such good care of this building, and you're with the children and taking care of things. Les and Darlin, Danny with the food, the people that work with the youth, people that, you know, when you're called upon to help, Trish, you were in that sound room and working on the fabric thing, and so whenever you're called on, you're always here to help and keep this place clean. And Isaac and Isaac helped so much with the trim and things like that. So I'm not going to forget anybody, but you all are just thank you for your volunteering and your time and your service to the church. So okay, this is just a run through. You can kind of go through the first. I'm just going to read through them, and these are the things that we in 2025 that we wrote out checks to. So Subsplash it's like 216 something a month, so it comes out to 2,592 68. I better probably get my glasses. Oh, I didn't bring them in. Bring them. That's okay. So you can kind of read that. So that is for our Subsplash account. And I don't know, Jeremy could probably understand. Jeremy, what else does the Subsplash do? Yeah. So that's the fee that is for when it says Subsplash. That is what that is. Then Garden Valley Tech is for our internet here, and that's 1,218.95 for the year. Lessa's sanitation is for the garbage. That's 1,130.37. Red Lake Electric, that is for the electricity here in the building. That's $3,511 we spent in 2025. Red Lake County Co-op would be the gas for our 3 tanks here and our furnaces. That's $9,951.63. The Small Business Administration was 1961. That is paid off this year. So years ago we borrowed, I think it was during COVID, what was it, 30,000? I can't even remember the total of it. And we did the roof and we did some remodeling in here, but we no longer owe any. We're debt free in the church. We don't have any debt. So we did pay off that this year. Then the CCL is for the licensing for, Jeremy, you could kind of explain that too. It's the copyright license. Okay, yeah, so that's our copyright license. Then the supplies, on the supplies on this one is mostly for the things that we use to clean the church, like vacuum cleaner bags and toilet paper and paper towels and things like that. That was 455.68. The Hugo's bill is like the paper plates, the food that we buy, and the napkins and those kinds of things. So that is what we paid for a year. And then the lawnmower repair, Ed came out and put new blades on, so that was to Hubert's, and that was 109.25. Snow removal was 650. The children's ministry, which includes our camp and any expenses that went with the children's ministry, was 7,617.35. Lee's plumbing was 2,474.05. And Tom, that was for the furnace, redoing the furnaces and the furnace things in here, that Tom pretty much and David kind of helped with that. And actually, I think we pretty much saved a lot of money doing doing it the way, with the volunteer work that these guys did with taking Big Bertha out of there and putting those furnaces in there, we probably saved $9,000, wasn't it, from the estimate that we got? So that was a lot of volunteer work went into that. Then Dave Wagner, that was 1,500, and then WOM is the World Outreach Ministry that Steve is in, and that was given to Steve. And then also United Team, there's gave 4,867.89 to them this through in 2025 for the outreach in Bicajula. Okay. Zapata, okay, so when the Zapata outreach comes, sometimes they write out to United Team, and sometimes online they donate to United Team, and then some people write it out to CCI. So what I did is totaled up what came in from writing checks out to CCI, which would be Community Church International, was $2,733.43. Then also there was like, I think the total this year was 8,000 something, 8,200. So the rest of that came out of the account of UTI that people had sent in through the mail or sent in addressed to United Team International. So that's where the Zapata came. Okay, then transfer to UTI was 2,113, and that is when on Subsplash it'll come in as given to United Team International. Then I just transfer it over into United Team, and that's usually during the conferences and things when people give online and they don't designate it, and it's designated to UTI, and on Subsplash it will say like Camp Rising Warriors, or it'll say United Team International, or it'll say General Fund. So it has on the Subsplash, it divides it out on the Subsplash. So that was transferred over into United Team. Betsy and Jose was transferred 1,050. Bethany transferred that over to their account in Panama, and that came from the conference. And then Tom, okay, so now we go into salaries. So Tom Ramsey got $17,500, which is about $200 a week. And you get 2 for 1 there. 2 for 1. So, and then I do the books and take care of things like that. That was $12,000, and I think that comes out to $200 a week too. And then Bethany Packard, she takes care of the minutes and things like that for our board of directors. You have to have minutes in order to comply with your licensing. So we have to make sure that we keep good minutes, and Bethany does that, and she got $2,160 to do that. And then of course Jeremy, he probably is the hardest working one here in the church. He only got $1,950, which it comes out to $22 a week. So it's just kind of good to know that. So when the year started in 2025, we had $7,360.46 in the account. So through our Sunday morning offerings for 2025, we took in $72,817.21, and then through our Subsplash, we took in $24,627.43. So if you take and add that all up, so what came in actually in offering and through Subsplash was $97,444.64. So if you take that and you add the $7,360.46 that was the beginning balance, that is $104,805.10. And then if you subtract the total of expenses that I just read to you, that's minus $84,323.73. So it left at the end of the year a balance of $20,407 $481.37 in the account. So, any questions? Okay. And I have I'm pretty sticklers on receipts, so I have a whole bag of receipts, and I make sure that we take really good care of that. So, Tom, do you have any questions about it? Yep. Well, I just want to say too, the what our eldership team is Tom and Jen, myself, Bethany, Danny, Jeff, William, Frank and Deb, Jim and Mary. They are amazing tithers, and I'm going to be very, very, very sad to lose Willie to Africa because he is the highest. He is you know, he's the highest one that gives donations to this church and has been for many, many years. So, when Willie moves away, that tithe doesn't come into the house. And that's what I don't like about our church, because we're a training center, and we train these people up, and then they go out and, well, I know, you know what? I mean, I think what we do in this church for the budget we have, it's a lot of sacrifice. And I know that. I know that. Tom and Jen, you sacrifice a lot. And we just want to say thank you and appreciate it. Dave and Heidi, I mean, the rest of you guys, Jamie, Sarah, and Isaac, I mean, you know what? This worship team, they're faithful. We have a lot of faithful people in this church. So, anyway, thank you very much. If you have any questions, you sure can anytime ask me.
I really appreciate the openness and transparency. Like when you sit down and do finances and you go over line by line, it's hard to do. I don't know if anybody's been married, but when you sit down and try to do a budget and where money goes, it could be difficult too. But we have such a great unity in the eldership right now. In the season that we're at, it's not a financial issue. It's a promise issue. It's an assignment issue. Every time we've fulfilled assignment, provision will always come. So what God has been doing in the last few years, you guys remember some of the words about build your altar, dig your well. It means the assignment hasn't changed for this place, but there's a new refreshing investment in that. When Lynn came and said that the coals were still burning here, that means it's still here. And part of that is we've been in a season of renewing. And there's a group, a remnant that has galvanized to stand for the assignment. And in standing, if you've ever been anything in relationship and you stood, God moved on your heart to open up. And the word was new wineskins for a new season. And when you stand, you find yourself going beyond your own ability and trusting God for something more. And that's in this season. That's part of what God is doing. This is amazing, but back in, Lindell Ballinger, Sandy, back in 2010. I have to share this because we've been revisiting, because it's about the assignment. It's not a financial question. Every time God wanted to move, he moved. And when people moved, God opened up all these things, like Danny said, people came. And it was so important. But this is Lindell back in 2010. I want to share this because I believe these are keys for where we're going from this place. He said, this is the most serious meeting I've ever been in this church, because it's about our destiny and it's about the call of God on this church. And it's about the assignment. Hold fast your confidence. The enemy has tried to shake some of your confidence, but couldn't do it because your affections weren't set on the things of this world. They were set on him. Okay, am I reading too fast? This is on the website, and I'll give you the link, but it's on one of our front pages. The enemy has tried to shake some of your confidence, but he couldn't do it because, again, our affections. As I looked around, okay, so he saw the kids and the gifts of this church. There's so many kids and giftings, but here I want to go. A real level of intercession is coming to this house. One of the areas the church gets messed up is in intercession and spiritual warfare. And in the last 3 years, how much have we been looking at spiritual warfare and intercession? Okay, when Zeno came, He was directing some things, and he was giving us direction again. Take keys of what God is saying here, because the church needs to be equipped. Say equipped, right? I was telling, when I go to a job, I know what I need. I am not going to the job site without my jacks. Now, if you go into that, so here he says, the church, a real level in intercession, there's more awareness that comes. So there's a covering over the prayer groups. There's this unit. Our hearts are opening up again. Okay, it's really hard to have real, and as Hope was sharing, real relationship. Do you have someone you have a real relationship with? Because when we go through things, one of the side effects that the enemy comes in is we break covenant and we break relationship. And that breaks our prayer group, that breaks our effectiveness. But we've gone through a season of time where we pretty much felt like all we had was each other, and we've had to stand, and we had to hold on, and we've had to stand. And some of the side effects is that you kind of have your group, but now God's saying, all right, now we got this group, but we need to expand and open up our group. Okay? We need to come together in our prayer time, but it's about prayer. It's about the assembly. Let me keep going. So it's an intercession because it's about spiritual warfare. There is more stuff that goes on because the enemy knows the power of it. But the assignment that is on this house, especially in a season of restructuring and assembling to accommodate. Come on. We are restructuring and assembling to accommodate. Nothing wrong with what it was. But here we go on. I should just read this. I always get, and I go off. Nothing wrong with the first building or the second this year. That God is taking us from glory to glory and from faith to faith. He's taking us to a place of a different level now. In order to do it, you need to reassemble. You don't want to take what you have and just put it there. Take us to a different place of accommodating a different season, the different move of God. And because God is a God of increase, not decrease, and he's taking you somewhere where you haven't been, yay. We can get caught up in tradition, but God is really wanting us to trust him beyond ourselves. Again, Frank. How many years? To be stretched beyond ourselves. Sandy was just being stretched this last week, going beyond herself in faith and trust. But it's the new wineskins that accommodate the new season. And everything that we've been in has been stretching us, seeing if we would hold on to the faith. You know, love is really tested through trials and difficulties. Who you are under pressure. And how many things have we had? Who we are under pressure is who we really are. Who are you? Respond, right? Are you going to hold on? Who are you going to hold on? And I felt for the season of time, we've just, as eldership, we've had to hold on to each other. Because a lot of stuff has happened over the last few years, and that's all we've had. But we're coming into our new season. It's about expansion. It's about newness. Your faith is being expanded to accommodate the new season. But the assignment hasn't changed over this house. The assignment is still the same. What this house is called to be. An apostolic resource center, a training center, right? A place where people come to know God's plan and his purposes. None of that has changed. But what our tendency to try to put God, or when we go through things, is to create, limitations on the Lord in relationships in our heart. He's blowing that wide open in transparency. I think I've become more and more transparent as the years have gone on. That's part of what we're doing here, finances and stuff. Here it is. This is what we're doing. This is everything out there. Yeah, I think everyone should get a raise. I think I should get a raise. Just being transparent. But what I'm really after is the assignment. When I'm talking about the altar and what God is want to do here, that's what I want. I know the rest will take care of itself. I know it. So I'm not worried about the money, but I want to know the assignment, as he was saying. So it's rooted in this prayer. I will be the first to say, I don't fast much. I don't pray much. But my heart is just brought, what Hope brought here was, the word was the mandate of prayer. Almost to the point, I'm going to tell you this. Don't do anything else. I'm going to tell you. Don't do anything else till you get this in the spirit. It's kind of like going out on a job and you don't bring anything to the job and you go, what am I doing? But there is a significant It is so on my heart and conviction. Like, we need to get this in the spirit of prayer. And there's some things that God has been showing us that we're going to share later, not today, but about the courts. And he's bringing revelation of it. But he's to take us to a different place, accommodate a different season, a different move of God. And because he's in an increase, right? He's going to bring us somewhere where we haven't been. But the prayer in this house, there has to be real, genuine, serious prayer that walks under the authority of the house, because the assignment is too big. Okay? The assignment's too big. And he says, this is Lindell. He says, I'm going to speak out of my own life because I believe there is things that we have encountered and that have not been successful in because we haven't maintained the ministry and the covering of prayer and coming together. We didn't have the prayer level in ministry. So it was brought to me so strong. So in this season of God moving in us, he has really galvanized a remnant. And the culture of honor, those things that we did classes last year in the church. If you don't have that book, I recommend, again, getting the culture of honor, because this is the way we want to be for each other. Culture of honor is really, if somebody struggles, if a brother and sister struggle, if someone in this room is struggling with something, we're not here to expose them, but we're here to help lift them up and bring them out of something. That has crushed our ability to come to one another because we're worried that somebody's issues is going to be put on display and they're going to be ejected out of the church. It doesn't represent the kingdom. And I'll repent on behalf of this church for that. I will. We come to each other with our problems. We're not here to point out and agree with the evil that is set against us, but to release kingdom into every one of us. That God, despite that somebody is struggling, this is who you are in Christ. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? And it's through that power that people really get set free. In a book, a guy was praying for his son and his daughter. And we'll go on this later, but this is how significant it is. If we come into agreement with all the negativity, we actually empower the enemy to work against us. And we can't do that. It doesn't work. I've seen it not work. And here's a great test. Your love will grow cold. Your love will grow cold. I remember when I went through that, I didn't care about people. I didn't. I just hurt. When that happens, it's a warning sign to you that something has happened in you. Say, don't let the love grow cold for one another. Do you love someone? And what I felt recently is just compassion for people once again. Heartbreaking for people once again. Weeping for the lost that are on the streets in Minneapolis because they never got a hold of the light or the truth of who Christ is for them. So, of course, they're going to scream. Of course, you'd scream and cry, too, if you didn't have Jesus. I know I would be. Would you be screaming and crying if you didn't have Jesus? But this is what the church is to be, right? And if we look at our stuff and the culture, we see our issues and we lift each other past them. So that's what we need to be. So in my part, I know you got some. Okay. I went to Hope's Church. What's it called? Northern. Oh. They did not apologize about tithes and offerings. Okay? If you're not tithing here, that's an issue. And you say, well, why is that issue? Because you're not practicing kingdom. And we're a kingdom church. So Malachi 3, he said, they kept on it like all the time, like, oh, this big mega church, tithes and offerings, Sandy. I was like, oh, don't do it. But look what God has done with the faithful. With the little faithful we have. Look what God has done. Someone asked me about tithe and offering. I said, if we didn't have faithful men and women, this church wouldn't be here. And all the people that have been coming for the past 5-6 years, whether they're tithing or not, would not have been ministered to, would not be where they are. It's because of faithful men and women tithing. It's what God does under that. There's a whole revelation of Malachi 3 that the kingdom, and we shouldn't apologize for that. God has blessed us tremendously through that. We should not apologize for that. In Acts chapter 2, verse 42, I want to share this. They devoted. They devoted themselves to the teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. And everyone was filled in awe with many words, and signs and wonders were performed by the apostle. Here's what I'm seeing, a devotion to these things. God is bringing back fellowship. He's bringing back relationship. He's bringing back prayer. He's showing us the significance of that with each other. And that's where the meetings and the relationships, where the enemy's tried to come in and break those things, he's opening us up again to that and realizing how powerful. I mean, hope, it takes a hope. She come in and she began to just pray with somebody. Earnest prayers, 2 or 3 are gathered, and it started transferring, and there was hope rising up in me. I was like, whoa, that's good. Tom, when's the last time you fasted and prayed? Oof. So Jenny and I were like, okay, starting Monday, for 3 days, we're going to prayer and fast. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we're going to meet at the church at 1 o'clock, and anybody who wants to do it is welcome to do it. But for Monday and Tuesday, we're seeking the Lord. Say, have you ever done a 3? I have not. I'm not going to sit here and say I've done that. But it's time. It's time to do that stuff. When you know what to do and you don't do it, that's tough. But God is showing us what to do, not because to be ashamed, not because to be critical of one another, but these are the keys that we need to be a part of to do it. Jen, do you want to come and share? Jen is my teammate, my helpmate. We're a team. Jen and I, we're like, oh! I was just going to say that.
Just say 2 for 1.
Yeah, because peas and carrots together aren't very good.
What's better than,
I like peas and carrots.
what's wrong with peas and carrots?
Oh, I like them, but I don't know together.
You know what's wonderful? Betsy was praying for Jose, and she was interceding for Jose. You say, the two have become one. The two are one. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. I won't be long. I just have a couple things. 'Cause for this season of time, the prayer thing is huge. And I think, like we've been talking, and I think for as a church, that's where we need to go, is to really spend time in prayer and to really focus on prayer. Because he spoke the word about what Ballinger said, the level of intercession in this house. And I believe that that level needs to increase in this season, in this time. And I think that's why we are going to fast Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and be here at 1 o'clock, because this is how serious it is. Because sometimes things don't go out without fasting and prayer. And I want to see some breakthrough, and I want to see some things in my life and in things in this community and things in this church, and that's where we want to go, to see some breakthrough. And there's also some more prophetic words. You can go on. Jeremy has done a great job with that. He saw prayer portals of heaven opening up over this place, and angels descending up and down. He said, we haven't seen anything yet. And I want to have those portals open over this place, and I wanted to tap into that. And he talked just about intercession, the importance. Jesus took time to teach them how to pray. God is bringing us into that place. There's a fresh fuel that is coming upon the fire in your life. And I believe it's going to change Thief River Falls, Baudette, War Road in the North Country. When Daniel was talking about a day and night and day prayer, the seraphim, God gave me a vision. And he said, Rainy River, Baudette, Northwest Ontario, saw people from Canada and people from America. On each side saw fires of prayer. And there was a breakthrough coming forth in that, because there was a fire of prayer. And God is not only restoring and renewing prayer in the North Country, but he's also bringing us into the season of answered prayer. And there's something happening now that can define the next season of our lives and the church, is when we come to a place of being the burning ones. And I want to be one of those burning ones that are on fire and seeking God in prayer and fasting, because I really believe in this season and this time we have got to get serious about prayer, and we have to step into this. And that's why we're going forth in that, because I really believe this house is called for a house of prayer. We are called to pray for our nation. We are called to pray for our city. And if we pray and fast, we begin to see breakthrough in our lives and in our kids and just our community and in this church. So I just really encourage you, if you want to partake in that, to do it. And just watch and wait and see what God does and the breakthrough that comes from prayer and fasting.
Amen. Do you guys have any questions or?
Last summer I mow the yard back here and mow the yard, and Danny helps do the trimming and stuff. And I just was feeling very, very in a new season where you almost feel empty. It's not that I love the Lord. I'm dedicated to the church. I'm dedicated to my family. I'm all those things. But I really felt I was so dry, and so I didn't even know how to pray. And so I decided that when it takes me about 4 hours to mow this, and I just decided that I was going to have to pray in my prayer language. And so I just really activated that in my life. And every time I was on the lawnmower, that's all I did, was just because, you don't have to, on the lawnmower that I'm at, you don't have to think really, you just mow. And so I just really believe that if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have been in the well, my well, and the river that is inside of you. And I just preached on the well up in Ontario this last weekend, and how you have to really, if your well is plugged, get it unplugged. And I think I unplugged my wells by speaking in tongues and just decreeing and declaring things. And then I think too that I have to dig a new well, because build a new altar and dig a new well, because the well is what comes out of our heart. It says, out of your heart will flow rivers of living water. Out of your belly will flow rivers of living water. And so if you feel stagnant in prayer, I mean, sometimes just come anyway. You don't have to, because God is going to activate, and he's going to activate that in your life, and the river is going to flow again. And I'm in a total new season in my life. I was content to travel with Jake, and Jake would be doing pretty much all the preaching and the word, and I would pray and I would do things, and I could do anything. I can clean this church, I can mow this yard, I'm a team person. I'll wash dishes, I'll clean bathrooms, I'll wash floors. I'm that kind of a person. But then when he shifts you all of a sudden, and he wants you to do something different, like going up to Ontario and being one of the main speakers. I mean, Dar does that. She's a circuit preacher. She preaches all the time. Ducky has been pastoring that church for 22 years. She knows how to put a sermon together. I haven't really activated that in my life, and it's okay, because that was the other season of my life. I did daycare for 26 years here. But now he's calling us into a new season in our life. And in order to do that, we have to have fresh water, fresh wine, fresh. So I just want to encourage you, if you feel like God is moving you into an area and you feel like, how can I do that, or what, whatever, or how, just activate your prayer life and just go to him. And I tell you, he's really refreshed me and really filled me up, and I really feel, I don't feel tired in my prayer anymore. So I just wanted to share that.
Yes. Vicky said, like, in a new season, it feels like you're being poured out into something else, like you're free falling. Because I remember that when becoming pastor, it's like you feel like you're being totally dumped out of one thing and put in another, because it's your new season. And for you that go through something, it feels like that. It's like, is everything on the table? Are you going all in? It's that, like Zeno said, it's like, hey, we're going over in our heads, and we're praying that we won't drown, because God's bringing us deeper where you can't get past it. You can't get past not living by faith. I'm convinced of it now. Like everything you try, if you're living not by faith, you're living by something else. But faith always pushes you past yourself and into something more. And we really need, I thank you, Sandy, for sharing that, but we encourage one another like that. It's something, I've been to somebody else, you feel dry, you feel like a dry place. God's pulling us beyond. When Trish shared, when you shared that Sunday, it was so wonderful. It really was. It's powerful, because you're going past yourself a little. It's a little uncomfortable, but hopefully you know that people here care about you and aren't going to, but that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, and you're going to make mistakes. We had the Bible study, and the little girl was in there, and I said, well, are you praying for your husband? I meant to say brother, and I said husband. Now, I made a mistake, and everyone's looking at me funny. They laughed or whatever. But do we have that covering here, that trust to say, you know what, you may make a mistake, but I don't have a husband, I have a brother. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Right? It seems silly, but I might say something that offends somebody, and I'm trusting in my team to let me know, right? To let me know that, hey, I actually offended I'm sorry, I do not intend to. Thank you for coming to me. I didn't intend to do that. to create that culture of honor, to create that. Yeah, don't post it up on Facebook or. Yeah, she's what is she? What 8, 10? She's 8. She's just sitting in on her Bible set. Her Bible. I was like, oh. Anyway, yes. Is this you guys? Are you guys hearing this? Is this making sense? You guys got something on the same order? Deb, Frank, any elders? You guys feeling in the same vein? Okay. Well, thank you. I think, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good group. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I think we're learning to grow closer together and working together. I'm just saying. I go to job sites with David, and sometimes I don't always know what to do, but I know we're going to figure it out. And that's the kind of people I'm looking to team up with. I know when we go into something, that as we go step forward together we can figure it out. And that's what I have this confidence in the job site. David, people ask me what I'm going to do. But if we have this right spirit, God will show us when we step out what to do. If we're praying for one another and you're asking questions for loved ones in your life, recently in prayer, we've brought that to each other and we're interceding for one another. God is showing us how to navigate and how to walk through this together. As Hope had joined a church and they began to intercede, how God began to show her how to do things because she's had good friends to show that. And that's what we need to be for each other and encourage that. So I'm happy. I really am. I love you guys. It's been an interesting journey the last few years, and I'm telling you, God's moving, but the priority is to come together in prayer. I think it's a foundation that is so solid, and Jen and I are making efforts to do that, and it doesn't always have to be at 1 o'clock. It could, as Hope was saying, they would just sit together in the evenings and just pray for one another like the kids did up here on stage. It's a great, and it doesn't have to be long, but it's a power, it's a breaking through that's necessary for strength. Remember, they devoted themselves to this. In prayer, in fellowship, in learning of the word, right? And there's 4 of them I mentioned. It's Acts 2:42. Okay? All right? Well, thank you guys. Thank you for staying, and praise the Lord. Thank you, Sandy. It was good. I don't know if I thought my thing said 15, but it doesn't really matter. The 1099 you gave me?
Well, that was
That's fine. It doesn't really matter.
the 1099. We put 17.5, didn't we, on his 1099?
It said 15.5.
It said 15.5.
Sure.
Well, then the rest of it was just expensive.
It's fine.
We can, if they ever audit, we can say, well,
That was
gas money. To and fro. Yeah.
Did I mess up? I thought it was 17.
I thought it was 2.
Well, my 1099 was 15.
Oh, well, that's what
Well,
we
that's what
gave
was
you.
on the paper that I typed in was 15.
Was 15?
Ah,
Oh, well,
It's right with all that. This is not a big deal.
nobody else needs to know.
Question about Zapata here.
Yeah.
So, was this strictly stuff that people donated to the church that went to Zapata, or
oh no,
was
this went to the outreach.
okay? Would that include the $1,000 Jenny and I gave Jim and Mary?
Let me look on your. Yes, it's in there. It should be on your text.
So this is from the church, but I think they got a total of. But this is from our church, isn't it, directly?
I don't know. That's what I was curious.
Are you?
I think so. Right.
Yeah.
Because we donated directly to that.
Right, but then, in order for me to give you a tax thing, then I have to put it through the account. I know you directly gave it to. Well, we want to keep our books straight.
Oh no, I get that.
So yeah.
I get that.
So Mary contacted me. So this.
Because I didn't know if it was like I said, where people gave the envelope or Subsplash. But you don't want to donate to Zapata. This is just people.
It went to Zapata, but Mary and Jim, we cleared it through us.
Check. I turn this off.
You're welcome.
They don't do that. It goes.
It will,
doesn't
yeah.
it? So.
I'm looking for the.
Was that good? Did you have something you wanted? good.
Did Willie tell you about last Sunday when I came out here?
No.
Somebody left the projector on.
Oh no.
Yeah, I didn't know how to turn it off, so I called him like, "Yo, how do I
When
turn
did you
this thing
come?
on?"
When did you come in?
Like 5 o'clock.
When?
Last Sunday, I left my gloves here,
Oh.
and I called him. I was like, "Yo, why is the projector still on?"
Yeah, that ball. Well, it's not as bad. It used to be 400 and I get it for 270, but that ball burns out.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you for helping me yesterday.
Yeah, man.
It was a good thing. I know
Yes.
you showed up after prayer,
Okay.
but I was like, man, I'm glad you helped me. Oh, sorry. Help me carry
So here,
it.
it's on your, it's,
Okay, good.
cash, so it's got put into UTI and then.
I know they desperately needed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
well, and yes, and I think last year was the biggest outfit we've ever done.
And every you've heard some of the testimony. Did you watch that thing?
When they were
did
down there?
testimony. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
the testimony.
Jake.
yeah,
How she that one lady too. Just how blessed she was and all the things. That one lady was an older lady.
yeah.
Like, oh, thank you, Lord. So no, it was really good. But no, I really appreciate you helping out.
Like, was it
It was
recorded?
really
The one
nice.
up in
It's like a breath of
Ontario?
fresh air.
I don't think
I
that they
know
would
that's
have
what I
this
am.
Sometimes, but sometimes we love each other too. But yesterday we were very refreshing.
That's what we're meant to be.
Yeah.
When you were talking about up here about like, hey, rivers flowing from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
When you were saying that, I immediately heard him say, "What do you think Eden was?"
Oh yeah.
Oh man, he's like, "Why do you think Adam and Eve, prior to them falling, why do you think they felt so refreshed and they had the communal and life was great because the rivers flowed."
Refreshing.
Yes, from Eden.
Refreshing.
I was like, "Hey, that's
Isn't that nice?
dude."
Get the refreshing rivers of water. You need that. Don't want to get caught up in just everyday life. I'm honestly having these prayers where I'm like, Lord, what do you want from me today? No, I mean not just like, well, what do you want? Like the fear of God. It's not I'm scared of it. It's like, Lord, I really need you today to show me what to do. Because I have so many.
Things pulling you
course.
numerous directions.
Every single day, and they're not bad things. Like you say, they're good, but good can be the evil of God. Even it's that, oh, I'm doing this good thing, I'm doing that good thing. But I only have so much time. And one area that I think is like, I'd be overwhelmed if I just allow myself to. See you, Jake. I think of hockey. I get overwhelmed
I know.
because there's so many good things. I got people calling me, like Dave. I got these guys that. Last conference, there's so many people that wanted to do things. I'm like, okay, Lord, what do you want me to really do?
Do you think you're a controlling person?
In terms of,
Just in terms of thinking you got to control everything.
I need to. I think I need to know. I don't know. I need to know. I need to understand what I need to let go and what I don't.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Your selfishness is dwelt in your selflessness. And this is what I mean by that. You give so much of yourself away to people that literally it drains you to the point where you can't function where you normally need to function.
Yeah.
That is one of your faults.
Yeah.
And we all have it to a certain degree. We're men, we're called to sacrifice.
Right.
But that is legitimately where then you start to feel like I'm exhausted. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for God. I don't have time to, my wife's
Right.
going through something. My kids, I don't have time.
Right.
Oh my gosh, but I can't really rely on other people because I've been doing it all on my own and I'm kind of used to this. And now I
Right.
feel like I'm stuck, pulled in two different directions. And what do I do?
Yeah.
Honestly, you have the extreme potential. If you were to literally sit back, like, all right, there's all my problems. I'm going to go up here. God, give me a list of what's the top 3 priorities and bring somebody else my way to help me with the rest of these. Because you called us to take a day off during the week, which means time margin. We need to have margin with our time.
Yeah.
You have called us to watch over our family and designate things outside of the family to other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's called family management. Again, you have margin in your life. You and I are so similar, dude. It's like you're going. I gotta do this and that, and it's like you run out of time. It's like,
Yeah.
what the flip? Okay, look,
Yeah.
God has told us, take some time off. It's called margin. Step back, relax.
Yeah.
Don't do 100 things in 20 seconds, which Jenny drives me nuts. That's what she does.
Yeah.
So if you could tap into that,
Yeah.
and that fasting will help you.
Yeah, yeah.
When I've been going through this the last couple months doing this fasting, 2-3 days,
Yeah, set things in order.
I just feel like for the first day, I'm just. When Jen told me she was doing this, oh Lord, bro, I'm so sorry for you because women get crazy when they get hungry. But I was like,